Okay, so am I back now? I think I am. I did get a disconnection, but my computer is so slow that it delays to tell me that I got a disconnection even. So it disconnects for you all, and then only later, like after a minute, OBS shows me that the connection was lost. This computer gets worse and worse, right? So can anybody confirm that I'm back? Even though my computer is still kinda dying. But I think I'm back because OBS gave me the message that I was disconnected, and then now I think I'm back. There we go, we are back. I was saying that I missed the results. Did anybody get it? Or do I need to go to check the browser? I can do that, but it's going to make my computer worse again. But I think you guys voted on the foundations, wasn't it? As I remember seeing 3 votes, you did not, but everybody went for the same result. So what did you pick? Was it the foundations? Because I think that's what I read, but I'm not sure. Foundations, I think that's the result then. Let's go for it. Geysers. That's funny because actually I kind of have this dream of seeing real life geysers. I think it's such an underrated uh, nature beauty, right? Like nobody talks about geysers. Everybody only wants to go to lakes. Let's go to the beach. I don't know, let's see the mountains or like let's go to a waterfall. Nobody remembers the existence of this, and it's one of my dreams. I do want to visit somewhere, probably in the US, because I know there is a state in there that has many of geysers. That's thanks to a show that I miss and I used to love to watch, which was The Amazing Race. There is this one episode that the teams need to visit a geyser, a natural one, and I still remember that episode because I dream on seeing them with my own eyes. So I wish I were this guy in the game right now because I do want to find a place or a location that has a geyser. Let's see. See, right? See. At least now the oh okay, after the reconnection we got quality options. That's good. Not that I have a very powerful strong streamer here, right? Like I'm not full HD, but it's good to have the options for sure. Geysers, what about them? A hut now. When Subaru was talking about the leader of like a tribe, I said that no, this is probably the scouts, right? It's not really a tribe because they had tents. But now that they are giving me huts, then I can say, yeah, maybe now this is sounding like a tribe. Should we enter the hut or should we just observe? I'm thinking now that after, if I need to create a storyline for the situations of this game so far, I'm now thinking and wanting to believe that here's what happened throughout the whole the whole mode of dimensions, right? Last time we were lost in a workaholic universe that we could only wake up, feel sad, go to work, have an awful day at work, go back home. There was like some family, but they were also depressing or depressed. And you know, everything was awful. And then after we were able to get out of that or get away of that, even though we did that by staying alone or we were left alone, now we are having our vacation. So I want to see this dimension as a vacation, as a restoration, as a re-energizing spa or like trip that will, give us some peace of mind that we didn't have in that crazy city-like universe that I do not want to go back. I'm creating the poll again. Don't you think that this is like the vacation paradise or something? If I had to pick, I would observe because maybe after observing, they would allow us to enter it. And in case that's not what happens, at least we will have a more clear picture of the hut for the next cycle or like for the next opportunity we have in the future to enter it. You're calling BS too suspicious in here? I mean, it could be a trap. But last time we entered the tent, we found a chef. You think this is still about the chef? I'm starting to think this is about native people. We are observing, I would pick that too. Imposing? An imposing hut? How's that? Like, is it big? A campfire. Okay, this is now going to my idea of this being a scout area. We have flames or a chieftain. What is a chieftain? A chieftain? Let me Google that. I have never been to a campfire, but I do remember being by how is that in English? Um Man, I forgot the word. In the freaking Dark Souls games. Oh, bonfire, isn't it? Yes, I remember being to a bonfire before. Because my dad and the neighbors here, they decided to make a huge bonfire so we could have a party in the streets. But that was the only time I sat by a bonfire. So, chieftain. Oh, it's just the boss? Or it's a. I'm very confused. Google is telling me it's a boss, it's telling me it's a tank, like a war tank, or it is maybe a native Indian, or like a. Not native Indian, I'm sorry, a native chief. I'm confused. Oh, you do have some Dark Souls emotes, X5? Sit and recover some Estus Flask. Yeah, that's the one, X5 has it. So Chieftain sounds like, on this context, I will say it's the leader of the natives. Yes, even though there were many different results from Google. Oh my god, that's a very cute blob right there. And for some reason, maybe it's because I'm hungry, it reminds me of bread, and then I'm extra hungry because of that. Let me make the poll for this one campfire situation. Have you guys been to many campfires or like bonfires before? I can only have one single memory of being by one. It's one of my few good memories from my childhood. Actually, I don't remember a lot of my childhood, but this is something that I still remember. Oh, it's called a dango, so that makes it food too. I mean, it looks very edible. If it tastes good or not, I'm not sure though. There goes the poll. By the way, since we are in the wild, or at least that's what I think, where we are right now, I was binging season 2 of Tiger King this week on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have watched season 1 or if you have heard of the show before. I want to imagine you have because it kind of got very popular last year. especially in the US. But I do think it also had popularity here in Brazil. And it is for a good reason, I would say, because the show is actually very good. It is probably the best documentary I have watched, especially season one. Season one was like a roller coaster of craziness that you could not believe they were real, but they were real. It's so weird, so crazy, and it only gets, worse and worse as you keep on watching it. It's also one of those things that you cannot stop watching after one episode. You kind of need to keep on going and going because of the cliffhangers. Oh my god! Ultras, hey man, also Eagle Eye Jones, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome everybody. I was here just talking about Tiger King, but no, let's stop. Let's welcome everybody right now. What were you guys playing? I'm guessing you were doing some sort of speed running, because I have seen you before on Ultra's streams, right? And I'm guessing you were either playing some Castlevania speed runs, maybe um, Metroid speed runs, or Contra even, right? How are those, by the way, Ultras? Are you still speed running those games? Yeah, welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. I'm guessing you were doing some speed running. Also, welcome, and when? Oh, you were playing Castlevania 4 then? There we go. I have never played Castlevania, but I think I will kind of give myself opportunities for that in the future, especially after I also play Super Metroid, because there are those games that I kind of always avoided playing myself. As I'm not a big shooter person, like I don't like to play many shooter games or games that are, at least to my eyes, very serious looking or medieval looking. But I'm really trying to change my perceptions of such games because everybody says they are fantastic, and I'm probably missing them out. Even though they may not have the aesthetics that are appealing to me, I need to try, right? I need to give them a shot, and I'm hoping that I can make it happen in the future. Also, welcome, Mako. This game looks hard. Do you mean Ord? You know what, Ultras? Maybe if you were asking me that, let's say two streams ago, I would tell you, nah, this game is easy, like piece of cake. No, no, not a big deal. But after last stream, that we were stuck in a maze. Like this game gave us a crazy maze of decisions that we could not get out. We were stuck in there for like 2 or 3 hours maybe. And then once we finally get out of that, we actually got a horrible ending. It was very depressing. I will say that this game is hard indeed, because it is also very random. So you're not sure if you're picking the good option or not. And yes, after last weekend, this game can be surprisingly hard. That situation was totally amazing. We were on a loop of the same things we could not get out. And then we eventually found a way out, but it was to a bad ending. So you were rusty. Wait, derusted? What do you mean by that? But I'm guessing you were like playing Contra 3 a bit ago to do a race. A race? Like racing another person, or like just trying your own speed running, and then it went okay, but you have been working away on Super Castlevania 4 and you were close to PB today. Last time you told me how was your PB for Castlevania, I think you were a little bit above an hour, right? How is it now? But you didn't have a not very good run, but it will happen. There we go. And you recently have participated in a relay race. So wait, you were actually racing? And then Eagle Eye Jones were part of the organization of that? That's actually awesome. I know there are a lot of races for example, the randomizer of A Link to the Past. Draco, for example, does it a lot. That's actually very cool. I only did one of two races for the team. Thank you so much for the follow, Eagle Eye. I should follow you too. Or sorry, two of three. Oh wait, oh my god, you are actually at 38 minutes? Okay, that's much lower than what I thought. Which is around low 70s, high 60s on the leaderboard. That's awesome, man. Especially because I'm not fully sure right now, but I do think you started running Super Castlevania later than Contra, right? I don't think you were trying to speedrun it before Contra, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. So you actually got, to the leaderboard or to the high standards of the leaderboard very fast, in my opinion. And then it submitted at the 69th, but it may have changed. Dude, you are progressing quite well, in my opinion. You will totally get there. What is the position of Eagle Eye? Is he, like, let's say, much closer to the top? Yeah, much later. I have maybe completed not even 20. Oh my god! Okay, Ultras, you are a prodigy? Hopefully that's the word in English. You are a prodigy, man. Under 20 runs and then, getting to the top 100 or top 70? I don't know how to find this data out in the live split. I should know, but I don't. Is it 20 seconds? Maybe 34? That's awesome. Like, I cannot speedrun. Look at me. I'm here chatting for maybe, let's say, 10 minutes and not really playing the game anymore. Even if I were focusing on the game, I know for sure that I would not be able to speedrun anything. Actually, I tried it once, believe it or not. I tried to speedrun my favorite game, Super Mario RPG, once on stream. And I was like, I'm going to stream this game up until I finish it. I will, like, not go to sleep. I won't stop it. It lasted 16 hours. Because, of course, I was still chatting and I was, like, also showing people the secrets of my RPG and everything, so I was also taking detours. But even though I was also trying somewhat or a little bit to speedrun it, I couldn't. So yeah, speedrunning is not for me. Speedrunning the game, clicking the first option every single time. I mean, we will die though, but if there is somebody speedrunning this one game in here, that could be a strategy, I guess. I don't remember what was the result, so let me open the browser again. Let me see. I'm guessing you guys got or picked the second option for us to talk to the chief, but I'm not sure. By the way, Ultras, have you been not that's not how I ask it. Has it been maybe it's better? Has it been any news regarding Ghost lately? Because last time you sent me their new song, right? And that song was awesome. I wonder if there is a new album coming up, if there are any news regarding their works. I'm waiting for my browser to load in here. Just to finish what I was saying before talking to Wiggle Eye and Ultras, go watch Tiger King season 2 on Netflix and season 1, of course, especially because it's better. But that show it is so mind blowing. That's a real story. And I was even wondering how could they make this second season after the ending of season 1. I was like, no, how is this happening? This won't be too good. And it was not as good, but it was still very interesting. And especially the ending. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? The ending of season 2 was like, what? So I'm totally waiting for another season. Like, season 3 must happen because the story is still going on and those people are insane. So yeah, Tiger King was a very good show. I watched it in 2 days. Like, oh, you guys voted for the chief. Okay, so I was right about that. Let's see if it is going to be safe. Okay, so far talking and speaking to him sounds good. Don't, I don't know, attack us or eat us. An honor? Do we earn it or was it worthy? Why are we getting that though? Like, what did we do to, I don't know, have a chance in here? So there is a new album that should be coming out very soon. Okay, so it is happening. And I think sometime around January they are playing a few. Oh yeah, they are back to shows, to concerts. Man, my favorite band is on tour right now. I actually never mind. They just finished it because I do remember seeing on their Instagram that the tour was over. But What Nothing was touring with Beach Fossils. I was only like dreaming, right, by being there or to be there, because that tour totally rocked. Like, I love those two bands, and I was so happy that they are having it. They were able to have the tour happening this year because it got postponed thanks to COVID, and it went well. Like, it went very great. So Ultras definitely go to the Ghost tour, man. I'm not sure when they are going to do anything in Canada. Oh, never mind. You were saying there is nothing in Canada. I was thinking they were going there. Maybe will be a part of its own section later. I wonder if that has something to do regarding COVID still. For example, maybe Canada is still having some sort of control over concerts and shows, and then that's why they couldn't go to Canada to have that concert. But then the US has been more open regarding, activities with lots of people and agglomerations. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe they will be a part of its own section later on for travel logistics. Now, yeah, now with all of the complications, I imagine some COVID effect could be part of that. Especially if they are playing in very north, or wait, if they're playing in the northern region of the US or like in the northern states, because then they would be very close to Canada, so why not jump into Canada? I think it's a bit about COVID probably. In order to get honor, you will need to play 1v1 for honor and not being interrupted by a third person. Well, unless it is an honor for being slow at the game, right? X5, it could be that. Worthy, we want to know more about this ownership, right? Let's see. What is he going to tell us? How? That's actually my concern as well. How is that possible? Okay, you see, we rejected the honor. Like, they were trying to reward us somehow. And because we doubted on their respects, or I don't know, their intentions, this is what happened to us. Let's open the gate, drop the T-Rex, kill them all. You see? Next time you should take it for. We should accept it. Because otherwise a T-Rex will come to hunt you and then. Are we going to get eaten again? That's our last game over on this game? Wait, what do you mean by find? Find? Find a T-Rex like the fossil? Only if it's that, right? Maybe we are archaeologists, right? Maybe that's the answer that I have been trying to find so far. Maybe that's why we are here, like in the nature, with tents, with like a bonfire or a campfire. Maybe we are trying to find fossils and not become one ourselves. But do I really think that's what's happening? I don't, because this game can be cruel, it can be deadly, it can be frustrating. And F in advance, I think we will be dying right now, right here, on this Jurassic Park. Now T-Rexes are alive, right? I mean, we got eaten by a creature earlier today, so I'm not very surprised T-Rexes are alive. How are we going to kill it without finding it? Oh yeah, the second option is to kill the T-Rex. I mean, I appreciate your bravery character or main protagonist of this game, but honestly, how would you kill a T-Rex? Like, 'cause I mean, we got eaten by a creature earlier today, so I'm not very surprised T-Rexes are alive. How are we going to kill it without finding it? Oh yeah, the second option is to kill the T-Rex. I mean, I appreciate your bravery character or main protagonist of this game, but honestly, how would you kill a T-Rex? Like, That's a question for everybody here. What would you do to kill a T-Rex if you were on this situation? And let's consider you don't have, I don't know, a crazy powerful weapon such as a bazooka, for example. No, you can have a gun, but not really a bazooka, right? There is no way. Like, out in 100 attempts of killing a T-Rex, one chance of winning is still high, in my opinion. We are finding the T-Rex, okay. I hope the answer is he's at Jurassic Park. Not that it's going to happen, but I wish. I can still dream. Find the T-Rex or kill the already dead T-Rex. I was wondering, yeah, maybe by finding the T-Rex it could be like a fossil, not a living one. Which bands were you guys talking about? So, Ultros is a big fan of Ghost, and from what I have heard of it so far, it is actually a very good metal band because I didn't think it was too aggressive because I don't like very heavy sounding music or anything very screamy or very aggressive even. Ghost was fantastic, and he was saying that Ghost may be touring in the US in January, and then I'm hoping that they can go to Canada so Ultras can catch their concerts again, right? But I was talking about my favorite band, Wild Nothing. It's a dream pop band. I love their dreamy and aesthetic and relaxing even music. They sound a lot like the 80s music, right? They have this oldish vibes that I love so much. It's very dreamy, relaxing, atmospheric, ethereal. Those are the words to describe it. So is the other band that was touring with them, which is Beach Fossils. I still cannot believe that as a Brazilian, living in Rio, was able to go to those two concerts in my life. It's like still mind blowing to me. It's not every time that bands decide to come to Brazil, especially let's say indie bands like Wild Nothing and Beach Fossils, because normally if international bands come to Brazil, they will be the ones that people listen the most here, like Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters come here a lot of times. Freaking Coldplay as well, and very famous people. They even are starting to release some lineups for upcoming concerts that got interrupted thanks to COVID, but now I cannot remember who's coming anymore. But my, let's say, alternative favorite bands are never coming to Brazil, and when they come, it's like one event in a faraway city. Or at least I would say that São Paulo is where the most concerts happen. But luckily, I was able to head to São Paulo for the first time to watch a concert of One Nothing. And fun fact, it was extra awesome because it was a free concert, so I did not need to buy a ticket or anything. I just had to make the trip. It was actually a fantastic time. And Beach Fossils, they came to Rio. I was lucky enough to see them in Rio, but their concert happened in a Thursday night. So it was a very crazy time, but I managed to organize myself because I was still studying at college and stuff. But I was able to like leave my trainee work and then take a bus to the neighborhood in Rio and then find the spot and then wait for the concert and everything. I organized myself to see them live, and I'm glad that it happened on that day, like a Thursday night, because not many people were able to make it. So it was, good with like few people, and the few people in there were really fans of the band, so everybody was happy and enjoying it instead of like being lost in the crowds, and not feeling very comfortable to sing or dance or jump and scream. No, it was actually very, very fun. It was so, let's say, informal, that event, that I even managed to handshake the guitarist. I was like, wait, is this real? Like this proximity between the fan and the band can be happening. I handshake the guy, so I was like, holy shit. But I know that this story of mine is nothing in comparison to Ultra's stories of the concerts he has been to, because Ultras has like gone to drink with the band members and everything way more than anything I have done. What about you, Meowser? Have you been to many concerts? Which bands do you actually like? Or the others too? Like, what do you guys listen to? I love electronic music, like French house, for example, and dream pop. I would list those two as my favorites. I also love some 80s songs or 80 music and retrowave. Yeah, retrowave, another electronic genre. I also love it a lot, and video game music as well. Going full Persona 3 and using a gun in my right temple. Wait, temple? Is that a word for like an area in your head? Temple for me is a temple, like an ancient ruin. Somebody's saying it's the neighbor T Rex that's in my bed. And then he's asking what I'm going to do. What do you mean by that? Do you mean like a dog? Like a dog named Rex? Yeah, that's what I was thinking that X5 was trying to say, Subaru, like a tempora in Portuguese. Like maybe it's temper, right? Not like temple. But I'm confused. You guys voted for finding the T-Rex. Let's see. We went on our hunt. Is this Monster Hunter now? Speaking of Monster Hunter, did you guys see the trailer? The crazy trailer of Sonic the Hedgehog in Monster Hunter. Why is Sonic like jumping into everything now? When is Sonic going to be in Fortnite? They are only missing that, right, to happen because Sonic has been in every little thing now. Now he's in Monster Hunter, and I do not understand why he has the dimensions or like the sizes that he has in the game. Because why couldn't he be more fitting for the Sonic games? But no, his looks are weird. It's like he's stretched. I don't know what's going on with Sega and their decisions. I wanna know though, what is Atlas doing? Because I'm still waiting for Persona 6 news. As they promised me, they would be dropping those news for the 25th anniversary of Persona, and still nothing. Like, no news. It's been more than a month for sure since they kind of started the website for the anniversary of Persona, and no news at all. They only said that there are 7 surprises. Wait for them, and here I am still waiting. Also, hi Gabriel, what's up, man? Oh my god, Sabri, you went on a very tangent, on a detour of crazy right now with that reference right there. So Meowser has been to 3 concerts when he was in Portland. Wait, do you mean now? Because you moved to Portland. Actually, no, never mind. You were traveling, right? To travel to Portland. Seriously, you managed to go to 3 concerts in this trip? You were actually getting ready to head down to New Orleans, and you were buying a ticket for a show on the first right now. What is the band? Like, let me know about your music taste. You were thinking there would be a... Oh no, it's because I kind of started later, right? Later than usual. It's because I was playing Pokemon Go, but also I was waiting for my computer to feel a little bit better. It is not very... It's not much better, but we are actually being able to stream. But it's my computer and the Pokemon Go Community Day. I was playing it. Oh, yes, I was asking how would you guys be able to kill a T-Rex? We found a spear here, though. We are really hunting this T-Rex, aren't us? Can't say that's a good idea, though. You are going to see Korag. I don't know if I can say that name. Koragbin? What are their genre like? Do they play rock? I feel like if you have to kill a T-Rex, the only way is to somehow trap it or trick it off a cliff. That's actually a very good idea. But at the same time, how can he fall from a cliff, but you do not fall from the cliff, right? Maybe a river, don't you think? Can T-Rex swim? I don't think T-Rexes can swim. Maybe that's another way as well. But the cliff is a very good idea. I just don't know how to make him to go down, but not you, because he'll be, targeting you. Which is still far from possible. Yeah, it is complicated. You make fun of his little hands, but not only his little hands, it's like his body is not fit for he's heavy as well, right? I don't think that's going to work. It's not building, come on. They were not let's say they don't have the anatomy for swimming. That doesn't mean they cannot swim. Who knows? But it's hard to imagine. So I'm sending you the poll for this one in here. I would take the spear because what? Okay, let's imagine the T-Rex in front of us. We have an armor. That's good. Yes, of course. It's good having defense than having, or it's better having defense than not having anything. But an armor won't save us from a T-Rex. The T-Rex will be like punching us with his tiny arms, like Gabriel pointed out, or biting us or something until breaking our armor and then eating us, like normal flesh for his dinner. I would rather have a spear, because at least I will have a one chance in a million to, like, maybe perforate him and kill him or something, stab him. Yes, I agree with the chat right there. I do think a spear can be more useful than armor. The I love being a defender. If this were an RPG or something, I would go for the defensive path because I like to have more time to defend and to strategize. But right now in here, against a T-Rex, a shield, an armor, they won't help us at all. The T-Rex can like crush us with that armor we got. Give me a second because my computer is giving me some pop-ups from the antivirus. I need to close it, but it's getting slow. And by the way, I'm getting hungry. What are you guys having for dinner? Computer, can I close this pop-up, please? Let me do it with the task manager. There we go, I did it. Let me go for the spear. It's sharp, good. It should be poisoning as well. Or poisonous. Oh, we can take both? Onward, let's go to our demise. A pterodactyl. We can run from it or we can screech. Huh. At least we escaped from the T-Rex. Or at least we... Never mind, we did not escape from it. We were searching for it, right? Are we freaking... prehistoric men? But then, if we were prehistoric men, how would there be saunas and tents? I'm now confused. Maybe we are prehistoric men, because bonfires could exist back in the day, right? Not back in the day, but back in the ancient, actually. A hut as well. A tent, kinda hard to imagine, but maybe. But the sauna is what is tricky, right? Unless it is a natural sauna, does that make sense? So the shows or the concerts that Meowser went, they were Blockhead, Slide Bells. I have only heard of Death Cab for Cutie, but I think they have an indie rock sound, right? The other two, I never heard of them. I remember the opening of Dino Crisis 2. It's with the guy that shoots a rocket, like he has a rocket launcher and then he shoots a rocket at a T-Rex. And the max that he can do is like leaving the T-Rex without an eye. Yeah, you see that T-Rexes are how to get rid of a T-Rex? Wait for a meteor. That's the answer for the question from earlier. You post a link to I can't say that name. Karagabis? Kurangabins? Tiny Desk Concert. It is a it's chill music, okay. I should give them a listen. I like myself some chill music. Chrono Trigger Pterodactyl rides. I mean, Chrono Cross hopefully is coming up soon, right? Chrono Trigger should come soon as well. You guys voted for the Screech, so we are not really facing the Pterodactyl. Okay. This was an achievement for some reason. It was the Insanity achievement. The Screech made the Pterodactyl confused, which makes sense. I'm extra confused because that was an achievement. Like, really, game? Aren't there more interesting situations on this game to give us achievements? Like making a pterodactyl confused? That was weird. And then we found some vines. Rip Vine, right? Vine, the app, it's dead. We can either swing or cut. I have the feeling that if we swing through the vine, we'll die. Because maybe we are going from Jurassic Park and then from Chrono Trigger into Turok. And then even though I have never played Turok before, I have the feeling that when you are jumping from the vines and then there is like a pit, that pit can have an alligator waiting for you to fall, and then that's how you die. I can picture that happening here too. Like this is not safe. I would rather cut the vine. Computer, allow me to have my stream, please. Please tell me that I did not go offline again. Am I good? Am I online? I'm not sure. Maybe I'm offline actually. Oh boy, computer, come on. But I was saying that I was getting hungry because I had soup for lunch. Every freaking time I have soup, it's like after 3 hours you are hungry again. Soup are delicious, or they are fantastic. Soups are delicious, but they are not a hunger killer. I mean, I was able to set a poll, so am I still online? Oh, it is normal? There we go. I was not sure because the last time that I had my computer freezing like this, I went offline. You aren't alive, or like you are alivened. Alivened? Maybe it's because we were talking about bands, but for some reason I said that and it sounds a little bit like a band name. Alivened. I don't know why. There is some epicness to that word, alivened. So Ultras had chicken fingers that were tossed in a hot mango sauce with fries. I imagine that it tastes fantastic, man, especially because you do like some mango and fresh fruits, right? Hot mango sauce. There is a place in Rio that they had a burger that gets a mango sauce too, but I never really tried it. I wonder how would that mango taste blend with a burger, with a burger pretty much, right? But speaking on chicken fingers, Ultros, maybe now this is an opportunity for me to bring this food talk to topic because I watched the video about soda or pops, right? Depending on where you are, it's either soda or pop. And if you at first think that ice cream is the dish that has like the most amount of different possible and things you cannot imagine flavors ever, think twice because there are all sorts of sodas and pops in the world. My city in here, my hometown, for example, it has its own, let's say, specific soda that you can only buy in here. That's a strawberry based soda. Maybe a strawberry soda doesn't sound too crazy because oh, it's a strawberry, it's probably good, right? And it's a fruit, so it's going to be delicious. It's not too weird. Maybe it's not too common, but not too weird. So yeah, my city, my hometown is known for this one strawberry soda that actually I think I actually have it downstairs. My dad probably bought it. But what about some other crazy ass soda flavors? And then, as Ultra said that he had chicken fingers, what about drinking a chicken flavored soda, guys? Yes, I learned about the existence of buffalo wings sodas. Would you try that? I would never because I don't like chicken. And even if I like chicken, I don't know about that. Like buffalo wings sodas. But there is more. There is even one that X5, in case I ever find that in my life, I will mail that to you, man. Because believe it or not, there is dirt soda as well. There is even grass soda. There is this one that actually maybe out of this list is the one that I would love to try myself of weird flavors. It is birthday cake soda. I would like to try that one. Everybody that I saw on the video trying it, they were very happy. It is kind of hard to imagine, like, what do they mean by birthday cake? But probably something very sweet, of course. But maybe sparkling, something that could have sparkling water or something. I was very curious about that one. Then there is also mustard soda. I do like mustard. It's one of my favorite sauces, especially honey mustard. But mustard soda, I'm not sure. There is pickle. Pickle soda as well. It exists. You can find it somewhere. And there is how is that one called? It is not gravy. It's another one. It's like ranch. There is ranch sauce soda. Yes, that also exists in the world. Would you guys try any of those? I was checking the votes and we got B for this. B was for cutting the vines. I think that's safer. It's thick. Ooh. It sounds like a 20s meme emo band. Do you mean Alivant? I was not thinking about it being emo, but I understand why you said it. Those soda flavors they do exist, yeah. I don't know if I'm forgetting any of them. Let me check on my notes, but I think I remember them all. Yes, it's buffalo wings, pickle, grass, mustard, ranch dressing soda, dirt, and birthday cake. Yeah, out of those weird flavors, I would go for the birthday cake. Maybe the mustards, but I don't think I would like it. But I do like mustard a lot. Grass might be the only one. A hard pass. Wait, do you mean the only one that you would try, Ultras, or the only one that you think it exists? No, they all exist actually. Do you guys have the weirdest soda you have tried in your life? I do have one, and I don't remember exactly the name of it, but I think it was a citrus, right? It was like a citrus flavored soda, and it tasted like the smell of um man, I need the words in English now. I will say soap, but not necessarily soap. It tasted like the smell of those cleaning products. Those products that you kind of use to clean your floor or your bathroom. It kind of resembled a lot of that. This citrus soda that I had in my life. It was so bad. Thank goodness they disappeared. Like it doesn't exist anymore. But it tasted like cleaning products, basically, with those artificial smells. It was horrible. You would try that? Ultras? No way, man. Although there are some people, at least here in Brazil, I heard the stories, and I will be honest. I can understand how and why, because I myself liked that smell a lot. But I know there are some people that are kind of addicted to soap, right? To the smell of soap. There is this one kind of popular soap here in Brazil to like clean your clothes. It's not like a soap for you to take a bath. It's like a soap for cleaning clothes. That its smell is very somewhat unique. And I used to like smelling that too, but I cannot say that I was addicted to it. But it is a good smell. Let me see if I can find it. But one thing is like the smell of soap. The other thing is drinking something that tastes like it. Yes, I used to love the smell of this freaking clothes soap, right? Or clothes washing soap. Together with that, I would say that another weird or kind of weird smell that I used to like is the smell of gasoline. Yes, I do like the smell of gasoline. I know it's bad for your health, but it's a smell that I like. I would simply say it tastes like, yeah, it tasted like that. Super bad. Although some people say that orange Fanta, do you guys like orange Fanta? Some people say it tastes like medicine. I disagree. I don't think it tastes like medicine. It tastes weird, but it's good weird. And then I do like orange Fanta, although I prefer grape Fanta the most. Yes. So you guys voted on B, right? And then we found the pool, we dipped it, and then I'm thinking we put our foot in there. I don't like any of the options. That's not how you fight. But why are they in a pool? Isn't pool for like an artificial, human created and made water area? Water cube, water bathing place? Who would set piranhas in one of those, like in a pool? Maybe that's a question. Can pools be natural? It's just that I'm not used to that idea. If there is like a natural pool, it's going to be a lake, in my opinion, or like a river, or something else, not a pool. So you have had lemon desserts that tasted like cleaning products too. Yeah, it's because of this. I understand why that freaking soda tasted like cleaning product. It's because it was a citrus soda, like I said, but they deranged it. Like they should have balanced the flavors better, because it went extra citrus punch and not very sweet, nothing to counter it. And then lemons and limes are citrus as well, so I can understand that. When you were younger, the drugstores had a section of Life brand soap that was all of those different colors, like blocks. Yeah, those are the ones for uh, washing clothes, right? And they smelled good. I know there is this blue one here in Brazil that had a smell that was, I don't know, it was something else. It was very remarkable for sure. And then I heard some people being addicted to it. Use it to rearrange them and smell them like a moron. I cannot say you were weird for doing that, Ultras. There is something regarding the smell of soap and maybe our pasts, for sure. It is weird, but I cannot say it's not something that I haven't heard happening before. Especially because I did like the smell of it as well. Somebody's saying that he's voting on kicking it because we are probably dead already. I agree. We are probably dead meat right now. Let's see. Devoured, yeah. Here we go again. But hey, that freaking area with the jungle and the dinosaurs, it was vast. Like, we were able to see a lot of things happening, and no clues about where the next portal would be in there. So those were. Oh, you're talking about the body soaps? By the way, Ultras, we need to give you a next goal for your Brazilian cuisine attempts, right? Because you have had pretty much lots of things. You have had guava paste, you have had the Brazilian carrot cake. What else have you had? Um, have you had the panettone? I don't think you have had that, right? I actually bought 11 panettones last time I went with my dad to the supermarket because they were for a very good price. We bought a lot of them. Oh, I'm checking the pictures now. Dude, I haven't seen those soaps in forever. Those three ones that are like lime colored, the orange and the purple, I remember them from my childhood. I mean, probably different brand, but I haven't seen soaps like those in forever, dude. And they did smell a lot, or like they had a very good smell. Ultras, I don't think you have had Brigadeiro as well, right? Maybe that should be your next attempt. Brigadeiro or coxinha? Oh yes, you tried the kippas as well. Man, I need to buy myself some kippas again. Oh yes, that's true. You also tried the feijoada, yeah. Feijoada is something that you had it, like you had it once, but I cannot say that I like it that much, right? I know it's like a traditional Brazilian dish, but it's not something that I would like tell you to try because I don't eat it myself that much. I like beans, but feijoada has so many different meat pieces and animal parts and all sorts of things that it doesn't get to me. Like, I prefer more traditional beans that are seasoned with like maybe sausage, maybe bay leaves, and maybe some pepper. But like the feijoada, the Brazilian feijoada is like it has big legs, it has like all sorts of cuts, that I'm not a big fan of, as I'm super picky regarding meat. So I can say that you kind of tried feijoada by your own outros. I don't think I was like telling you to cook it, right? Because I would rather have a more simple beans recipe. Something that I need to try still regarding beans? I need to try sweet beans ice cream because there is this other video that I was also checking out, and they had this one Filipino dessert that's called halo halo, and it's pretty much a mix of so many toppings and fruits and nuts and things. And on that halo halo dessert, they had a sweet beans ice cream. And then there was a person trying it for the first time, and the person was like, "A sweet beans ice cream? This tastes bad, right?" And then no, he actually liked a lot. So he made me very curious to try it myself too at some point. It is like a Halloween cauldron. I agree. That's a very good way on putting it. A feijoada dish is like a Halloween cauldron. It does get a lot of different animal parts that I'm not a fan of. I know I can like separate the animal parts and not eat them and just eat the beans, but again, I would rather have a more simple beans dish, right? Just simmering with bones and shit in it. Yeah, that's a very good comparison you did. We got no votes, so I'm going to pick this one. I'm going for Wake again. The sirens are back, not the roaring, right? Well, let's enter the portal. I think we're in the desert. Yes. So the jungle prehistorical location is very rare. But seriously, Outros, try the Brigadeiro next, man. It's so simple. You just need condensed milk, butter, or margarine, but probably the traditional recipe will have butter. If you really want to go for the Brigadeiro tiny balls, then you would need to buy chocolate sprinkles. But honestly, I'm lazy to go for that extra work, so I just mix the chocolate powder or chocolate mix with the condensed milk, and then that's it for me. Oh, something else that surprised me this week regarding dishes? Have you guys ever heard of flavored puddings? But like not usual flavored puddings, I'm saying, because the only puddings I have seen before or tried before were the chocolate one and the caramel one, right? Which is pretty much the traditional pudding in my opinion. But this week I was watching a recipe of a clementine tangerine. Wait, a clementine pudding. I always get confused because there are clementines, tangerines, maybe it's tangerine. But one of those cousins of oranges flavored pudding. And then I was like, you know what? I never thought about this. And I was even thinking ahead of that. Like, that sounds delicious, but what if we can have a lime pudding or passion fruit pudding as well? I never really, connected those dots because I got so used to only caramel pudding and chocolate pudding sometimes. Man, I was mind blown. I was mind blown by that tangerine pudding recipe because I'm pretty sure it does have a different take, an extra and not cheerful, but uplifting maybe, an uplifting fruity taste to it. I was really curious. Pudding is sort of a broad term and could mean a few different types of things. I will show you the one that I'm talking about then. Let me get my phone. When I talk about pudding, I'm normally talking about this one. Yeah, that's the traditional pudding to me. So I was watching a recipe of a tangerine pudding. But I think the only differences were that they shaved the skin of the tangerine on top of it to give it smell and an extra flavor. And uh, like the caramel also got some tangerine juice, right? So this is like a Christmas pudding in English. Yeah, that's my regular pudding idea. The other idea I can think of is like a smaller pudding that I kind of compare it to some. I mean, this is going to be a dumb comparison, but in my mind, I compare it to some sort of yogurt. But I know it's not a yogurt. It's a bit different, right? But maybe it's because when I go buy yogurt, I buy those puddings and the yogurts myself together. So in my mind, they are kind of like a yogurt type, but I know they aren't. And when I talk about pudding, that's the one that I talk about the most. Do you know what I mean? Those tiny ones in tiny containers that are very next to the yogurt. Yeah, those are the other puddings that I can think. If there is like a third type, then I'm not sure what they could be. Like a snack pack, yeah. I sent the poll right now, or I'm sending it. I will check the picture. Although computer, can I do the things? Because the poll is taking forever to go. Oh, there we go. Now I'm opening the browser. The butterscotch puddings are so addicting that they remind you of visiting your grandparents on the beach because she always had them. My dad has been buying the snack pack puddings a lot lately. Even though sometimes I kind of try to tell him to not buy them, especially when we are checking the prices and the prices are kind of high in comparison to the other yogurt options. But he has been loving to eat those. We are going to scavenge the wreckage. Okay, let me just check Ultra's pictures, even though my computer is now kind of it's kind of brain dead. Computer, don't become a zombie, please. But I'm waiting for it to open the browser still. Let me try this again. Oh, there we go. It finally opened the browser. Ultras, you know something else that surprised me? Besides the Halo Halo dessert that I was talking about that had sweet beans ice cream. Ooh. Wait, that's the Christmas pudding you were talking about? Dude, it doesn't really look like the one that I was showing the picture. This one, for some reason, reminds me of the panettone chocotone thing that I was talking about too. But man, I wish I could have this. I don't know if they have raisins, but I see something that resembles raisins. I believe it's just chocolate. But this looks amazing. And then the butterscotch pudding, let me see. Oh, okay, yes. That's the one that I was telling my dad to not buy. Yeah, that's the one that's always together with the yogurt. And then I kind of consider them a yogurt, even though they are not. But yeah, that's the one. But Ultras, I was going to say, and then I will check on my notes because it has a very specific name. It's a Middle Eastern dish or a Middle Eastern dessert um, that's made by using angel hair dough, and it's called nafe. I'm going to type it. It's a very specific word. Um, I don't know how to really say it, but have you heard of that, Ultras? Take a look on that later, man. It was somewhat mind blowing to me because it was a dough that was like angel hair, so it's very thin, and the texture of it sounds very soft. Like it looks very special tasting, because of the texture, pretty much. And the recipe they showed me regarding that dish had cheese and pistachio on it. So it was a very interesting dish that I had no idea that existed, especially because of this idea of angel hair dough. That Christmas pudding is like an old school thing. You power hot custard vanilla sauce. Oh my god. Dude, I want that for my Christmas now. I can swap the traditional dish from my family of like the pineapple cold dessert into this pudding now because I would love to try it. It looks like chocolate. Yeah, isn't it chocolate? It's not? So it does have the raisins. It has dates, currants, apricots, cinnamon. Okay. But I was really thinking let's say not the toppings, but like it's a brownish uh, pudding. So I was like, oh, it's a chocolate pudding with the raisins and everything. It is not. You guys voted on the scavenge. Let's go. Electronics and then an oasis. We can approach or avoid. I mean, why wouldn't we approach the oasis, right? I'm like, count me in for this. Let me get a picture of this dish that I was talking about, the knafe. But first, let me actually set the poll, right? So while you guys vote, I can be talking about the dish. So look at this. It's really angel hair dough, right? I was very curious to try this because of the texture. I believe it's going to dissolve on your mouth. Yeah, this one is the one that I also saw on the video because it has the pistachio and the cheese. I was very sold by this dish. We got no votes, so I will go for approaching it because why not? Like, why avoid an oasis? Approach. It's fertile. Water. I mean, it could be dirty. I'm not gonna lie, it could be a trap. But you don't have many options if you are in a desert, right? So Swimming could be dangerous as well. I don't know if we can swim. I would risk it. I would risk drinking it instead of swimming. There's the pool. By the way, Ultros, have you started playing Metroid Dread? I knew you were kind of saving it for later, but I wonder if you have tried it already. Of course, people have been complimenting the game a lot from what I saw regarding the reviews of it. I I have not watched it, even though I am curious. I am a little bit curious to see like how it goes. I still, of course, need to be working more on myself towards playing it someday because, like I was telling Eagle Eye earlier, that I don't play or I have never played those games. But I am curious towards its story or its plot. But for some reason, I'm also kind of not trying to spoil myself as well. I do wanna, but I'm also trying to contain myself. But the game was a huge success. It's even one of the options for the Game Awards, right? As best game. I was very surprised about some of the picks for the Game Awards games in there, and I was very happy for Nintendo having kind of all of the options for the family game, right? They have uh, WarioWare, they have this Mario Party Superstars. They had a lot of options in there. Like I think they had 4 games. Yes, I think we should drink the water as well. And thankfully it was not poisonous, and we found a portal. I mean, we are not leaving, right? So let's enter. Chattering. Oh my god. Okay. We are back in here. This is good for some couple reasons. This is good because I may not need to be doing the pose because we have explored this pain in the ass a lot last stream. So we may know what's going to happen. Well, look at that, right? Isn't this a familiar face? Aren't you happy? Oh, I want to break this computer down. But before doing that, I want to know if that spammer sender. I want to take my revenge on that spammer sender, right? I want him to kind of lose his family in place of us. I'm just kidding though. But we'll be investigating more about the spammer sender. This game though, it's like, are you scared of, I don't know, the T-Rexes, the piranhas, the pterodactyls, the dinos? You can be scared of those, but you also, or you are also going to be very scared of computers, home office, bosses, you know, traffic. It's like, no matter if you are in the modern days or in the prehistoric ages, it is a scary life. Basically, that's so philosophical. Actually, the humans can never escape from a scary life. Is it a gaming PC? It's more like a potato gamer PC, right? Or a potato basically. So we're saying, you know the way out. I know the way out, but I want to know or see if we can, make it happier, make it friendlier, and especially make it more family friendly because it was not family friendly last time. Let's read the emails because the spam is there. Here it is. Reply. Hi, scammer. And then it doesn't matter what we pick because everything is horrible, everything sucks. The boss is in here, avoid him. I have a question. Do you guys think there is a good way out of this? I was saying when I started the stream that I don't think so. I think no matter what we do, it's it's gonna make us cry, basically. Even the dog can't help us with some happiness. You see? We have been through this. We learned from our past. We overcame this anxiety of dimension. Even though everything sucks. Not even food can help us. Response. Okay. GLaDOS is the what is the word in English? It's not a processor, is it? But GLaDOS is behind all of this. Honestly, that would be awesome. Oh my god, it does make sense. It does make sense since we are traveling through portals. Oh my god, Subaru. Good one, man. Good one. I'm now hoping GLaDOS is the final boss of this game. Can I still remember some GLaDOS quotes? I used to love them. First you'll be baked, and then there will be cake. Um, this deadly neurotoxin. Cough, uff. And then she starts laughing. Ha 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 ha. I can take a bath on this stuff. Put it on cereal, rub it on my eyes. I love GLaDOS so much. I love her so much because of also 2001 A Space Odyssey. HAL 9000 is another fantastic villain in my opinion. But yeah, GLaDOS is so good. She's my favorite character probably in the game. Some people like Whitley. Nah. Either GLaDOS or Space, right? The Space Core, those two, totally my favorites. Okay, so we are going to ask the price. We did that last time too, and then he said the family, right? Yeah. But then, let's continue the questioning. Because last time we went for take. To abandon them, yeah. Now we are going to reject, guys. Responsibility. So, question. Is there a positive thing about this? I have the feeling we are back to our boring life. Oh my god, we may be back to our boring life. This is going to be that bad ending. Last time I went for a weekend, I do remember that. Let's ask him about work. Routine. By the way, here comes some fun facts. I was talking about the gaming awards. Do you guys have a game of the year, by the way? Um, I'm trying to remember. Oh yes, Resident Evil Village is in there, right? I would give Resident Evil Village that award, I guess. It was a very good game. Um, but yes, speaking on another amazing and fantastic, let's say, celebration or presentation, that are the Oscars. And I heard something this week that I was like, seriously? But it only shows you how important and like major these three or this trilogy of movies they were, right? Did you know that if you combine all of the Marvel movies together with the Harry Potter movies and the Star Wars movies, You have in the end 44 movies, if I'm not mistaken. Did you know that those 44 movies, once again, Marvel, Harry Potter, and Star Wars, they cannot beat the amount of Oscars that the Lord of the Rings trilogy has gotten? Those freaking three movies from the Lord of the Rings, they have more Oscars than all of the Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Marvel movies together. So I was like, no freaking way, but yeah. Also, hey Squall, what's up, man? How's it going? Speaking on Resident Evil Village as the game of the year, there comes a big Resident Evil fan right there, right? And regarding Ord, guys, I think we are dead because we are probably going to have the bad ending as last time. I mean, Marvel is never at Oscars. Honestly, I don't know because I don't really follow up the news of the Oscars, but it was still shocking to me because Marvel movies, in my opinion, are somewhat very popular. Right? Look at Avengers Ultimate and what it did to like the to everybody. Even I, that I was like not really watching the Marvel's Universe movies. I started watching a couple of them, like Iron Man, Captain America, um, and also some of the Spider-Man movies. Which, by the way, there was a new trailer. I forgot to watch the trailer. I forgot to watch the recent trailer for the last Spider-Man movie, but I can assume that we didn't have Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire confirmed, right? I saw some memes. I saw some memes of people saying that don't give me three Tom Hollands, please. Like, don't copy and paste him, please, in the movie. Yes, Squall, I'm hoping that Resident Evil 8 can get the Game of the Year award. Big, wait, Black Panther was a big exception? Without counting the Hobbit movies, yes, Sabaru. It was only the original trilogy. I'm now curious because I haven't checked how many Oscars those three movies have gotten together, but if they got more Oscars than those 44 movies, that's amazing. Especially the Harry Potter movies. Like, how are the Harry Potter movies not? And the Star Wars. Like, Star Wars and Harry Potter. I would imagine they got lots of Oscars. But then again, like, you have people's favorites and the Academy's favorites, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the same pick. So, like, meanwhile, everybody loves Harry Potter, Marvel, and Star Wars. The Academy maybe preferring some other picks that like nobody really loves or likes that much. Oh, Squall, have you seen the Dragon Ball based? Um, Once again, I'm confused because every freaking time I get those names mistaken. Dead by Daylight or Black Back for Blood. It's Dead by Daylight. Dragon Ball based Dead by Daylight game. I was recommending that to X5 and then he told me that was a trailer of that already. I did not check the trailer. I will need to also watch that. But I know you also like Dragon Ball, so you may be interested on that game too. Does it have a name, X5? I don't know if that game will have a name or if it is already confirmed. You saw something about it, me too, but I didn't know there was a trailer. And then according to X5 and also Cassia, um, it's a game where you need to hide yourself or escape from Cell. Cell is like absorbing humans. It seems that the players, like the teamwork, will be with citizens. I was expecting that game to have more popular characters, but it seems it's only Cell and citizens, because the citizens will need to escape from Earth by using a rocket. And it's a crazy idea that I thought, but they said it's actually very fun, or it looks fun. But we still need to see more of the gameplay. I was imagining this one game after I heard its like possibility of existence. I was imagining that you would need to find the Dragon Balls. Like, oh, okay, it's like you were in Namekusei, like the planet, and then maybe I don't know how is it called in English, but is it something close to Frieza? Freeze? I don't know what Freezer, isn't it? Freezer? Actually, I do think it is Freezer, as funny as it sounds in English. He's like trying to find the Dragon Balls in that planet, and then you gotta be faster and maybe use the Dragon Balls to like finish Freezer, right? I would say that's a better fitting idea, but they decided to go for Cell and citizens escaping from Cell. As long as it's fun, then sure, right? It has been like that for a while. Oscars became something very elitist, yeah, or focused a lot on pure dramas. It is good for also kind of highlighting some less known movies for sure, especially the foreign movies. For example, look at what happened to Parasite. But it's still very elitist, yes. So not necessarily the most amazing movies will be winning the Oscars, right? I hope so too. Yes, I'm cheering for Resident Evil Village. I think that Game of Thrones has the most Emmy wins of any TV show. I wouldn't be surprised about that. And I still gotta go back to that show because I only watched it up to season 2 and then I told myself I will read the books first and then look at me not reading a single page of anything. And at my parents' streaming device, like my parents having here a streaming device that's kind of pirate, I gotta say, that it kind of gets a little bit of every other streaming service: Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Plus, Paramount, Disney Plus. A lot of things are there. They do have the Game of Thrones on it. So I should give up about reading the books first and watching the rest. Even though I know it's going to get worse, because like people's reactions to the way it ended and to everything was like ill, but I gotta see what else, right? I gotta see what goes on. Frieza, there we go. Yeah, I have been playing nothing but Diablo 2 remake the last 2 months, man. So you were you able to finally overcome your addiction of Among Us? You were super addicted to Among Us, man. Oh, Freezer is Frieza's dad. I see. Or it is the cooler. Yeah, that's why I was like, as funny as this sounds. Wait, it's King Cold. Oh, King Cold is his name. That's fine. I don't remember much of Dragon Ball anymore. Actually, Subaru, I was surprised when you were bringing up details about the time traveling Cell and Trunks part because I kind of forgot a lot about that. I haven't played Among Us in like half a year or something. I'm not surprised either because it did like drop in the hype, but you were very addicted to it since the airship map came. Yeah, it was an airship map. Now they have all sorts of different roles, right? I think they got many of those ideas from the mods people created for the game. You were for a while, yeah, man. But I mean, that game was pretty much um, a milestone or like I was going to say a trademark, but I'm not sure if that's a very fitting word. Maybe it is. It was a milestone on the pandemic, right? Everybody was playing that. Somebody's saying yes. I watched that part on DBZ a long time ago, but I still remember some of the details, but not everything. Dude, I still haven't watched Dragon Ball Super, and I know it's good. Like everybody or many people said, Dragon Ball Super is very good. But I will still stick to my plan of like um, going to Monster Rancher or Monster Farm again before maybe going back to some other older animes that I have watched in the past. I do think my next old anime that I'll be watching will be Monster Rancher or Monster Farm. Right now, I'm binging or like loving. Komi Can't Communicate, highly recommended, super funny, fun, wholesome, crazy as well, anime. Loving it so much. Every episode is like heartwarming. I also tried watching one episode of this one anime that has been very trendy lately. It's called Osama Ranking. I only watched one episode, and I did that in the day that I had a little bit of insomnia. I was saying in the beginning of the stream that on Friday I couldn't sleep, or at least sleep that easily. I had to like take some more time before actually falling asleep. So what I did to distract myself was that I watched the first episode of this anime. I can't say that I'm that impressed, but I of course need to watch it more. But from episode one, I was a little bit like, people are overhyping this maybe, but I will see. I like the topics it's discussing, but I was not too impressed. It's good, but not as much as people have been saying so far from episode one. But I will also need to watch more of it. And I watched two more episodes of Cowboy Bebop. I believe now the live action is out. I think that people did not like the live action, but can you guys confirm if it was a positive or negative reception? But from what I saw, like in general, I had the idea that people did not like the live action, or it was somewhat weird. And as I was watching a little bit more of Cowboy Bebop, the original anime, there was one episode that surprised me a little bit more, like it got me more interested. But then on the next episode, it was kind of back to the regular formula of like slice of life episodes and, just a crazy adventure day on the lives of those characters, and that's it. Something to me a little bit empty. It's more like action based and then that's it. Adventure based and then that's it. I would need something more, something deeper, something, more mysterious maybe. But there was some grasps of that mystery that I have been hoping Cowboy Bebop could have to offer. It's more regarding how is his name or what is his name? Is Spike? I think it's Spike, right? Is Spike's past. So when they were kind of showing or revealing more about Spike's past, I was like, okay, this is getting interesting. But then they went back to the regular generic episodes, kind of. But there was a little bit of hopes in there. I still need to watch this week's episode of Dragon Quest. Um, liking it, but not as much as what I wanted because it's getting predictable and it doesn't get very serious, the show, but it's still good. So I will finish it, or I will finish watching it. I'm still watching Pokemon Journeys as well. It's been very good. And the other thing I watched recently, besides Tiger King that I mentioned earlier, is the season 2 of Lock and Key, but then that's not an anime, it's a series. Disappointing. I won't say it's bad, but it was disappointing because I thought the characters were super dumb. Like they made some decisions that I was like, seriously, haven't you learned your lessons before? Like, are you really going for this dumb thing without precautions? So it was disappointing, yeah. So it was a good live action. People are kind of dumb, so it was good. I think that people were probably expecting something else, maybe. And then it was different, but not necessarily bad different. Like Netflix brought the original anime director to work on the series. Okay, so at least Netflix tried their hardest to make it to fit the anime. I heard people talk about it in the Eagle Eyes stream. Do you mean the live action? Someone said they recommend it, and then he looked up for the ratings for the live action, and then he came back and he was like, "It had the lowest rating. Why did you recommend it?" But the guy was actually recommending the anime. I didn't know a live action existed. So I'm watching the anime of Cowboy Bebop right now. At first, I have only watched 7 episodes of it. Actually, I don't know how many episodes are there. Hopefully, it's not a very, very long show. I'm not sure. What I can say about Cowboy Bebop from my impressions is that it is one of those animes that you understand how important they were for the culture. Like, it has a beautiful art and a fantastic soundtrack as well. And it also creates environments in space that are very inspiring and beautiful and like dreamy even. Like the locations are amazing. But the show itself, it is very standard regarding, regular action adventure shows. And I know some people are crazy for those, or they love those genres, but it's not really my thing, especially if it is only that. I kind of need to have some drama going on. I need to see some suspense or mystery or something else. If it is just like bang bang boom, bombs exploding and shots being fired, the same goes for the games, right? I don't like games that go only like that in general. So yes, after having the idea that the anime was very aesthetic, right? It had beautiful aesthetics and soundtrack was good, art was good, environments were great. I got the impression that it was one of those very artistic animes, just like Ghost in the Shell and Akira, but the plot itself was not very rich or like not very uh, inviting, or like they were not really getting to me that much, the plot. But if you like action, it's good, it has a lot of action. But then on episode 6, in one of the two episodes I watched this week, the plot got more interesting because they were talking about the main character's past, but it was super brief. I was hoping they could like continue this, then I can change my mind. No, they gave just a grasp and then back to regular action and shooting and chasing and explosions and airships. And I'm like, okay. So it is a very casual anime. So it's not really my thing. I struggled the same thing when I was watching Rurouni Kenshin or Samurai X in Brazil. Rurouni Kenshin had the same. It's a very casual, good vibe. It's actually good vibes. It does make you feel relaxed if you're when you're watching it. But I don't know. It was not, with some crazy shit happening in the episodes in general. They were all action based, but it's still very, disconnected. Like every episode is a different fight or a different adventure, but I was missing the big picture, or it was not something that was developing. It was like different drops of action, not one main plot that was like getting developed at first. So it drops my attention or it loses my attention. But regarding the aesthetics and the soundtrack, the show is awesome. Very inspiring. One heavy critic I have in regard to the live action adaptation is due to a style choice regarding the action. Oh wait, did they change the action from the anime? The fights in the anime are very stylish, but they are kind of slow. They try to play that style, but it doesn't work on the live action. The plot will get a lot better. That's what I'm expecting, and I got hopeful. Yes, episode 6 gave me some hopes. It is a slow burn. Yeah, that's also something that I felt when I was trying to watch Psychopaths, and then X5 told me that it gets better afterwards. But I still need to go back to that. Oh yes, I forgot to mention the other anime that I'm also watching and kind of liking it a lot is Blue Period. Have you checked that one, Gabriel or X5? When I was first talking about it, I was not recommending it because I still can't say it's going to be one of those amazing animes ever. It's not. Like, don't go with high hopes. But if you want to watch something that could make you thoughtful, at least a little bit, or something that has some sort of, appreciation, and it is not an empty anime, basically. So if you want to watch something that has some, meaning and content in there, and something that goes a little bit abstract on the ideas, not only because it's about art, the anime is about art, but also because it deals with some, situations that you can kind of relate or not to them, and then think about them a little bit. It's been a great show for that. Like, the episodes have been making me to think a lot about the situations, just like Beastars. Beastars was great because of that. Beastars had a lot of situations that were very interesting towards society. This one has few situations, but they are also towards society. So, it's not an empty show. I know many people have been criticizing Blue Period because the manga is better, like the art in the manga is amazing, and the anime quality is not that great. I can understand that. I can see some people getting disappointed, especially if they are hardcore fans. But the show is still worth for the messages, like the meanings of it, not just the quality, like the art quality, which I don't think it's that bad, but I can understand. I think you posted on Discord like list of animes of this fall, and then I knew Netflix was going to release it, but I was not really planning to watch it. The situation that happened that made me to start to watch it actually was one day that I didn't know what to watch, and then I told Netflix like surprise me. There is an option on Netflix now that it's like the surprise me option, and then Netflix will start playing something that they believe will please me or please you. They started an episode of Blue Period, and I was like, okay, this was on my list, but I was not really planning to watch it now. But since Netflix got it to me now, let's see. And then it went well. Yes, yeah, it is something that makes you think about life. Exactly. Talking about how it's a kind of depressing. Do you think it is depressing? I mean, it is depressing on how the characters have their struggles for sure, but I'm hoping that, I mean, don't spoil me, of course, on how it ends, but I'm hoping they can overcome their difficulties, right? At least so far, it's going well, or kind of. So, guys, I think this loop only has this one option, right? Do you agree with me? We don't have another option, do we? You agree that the manga art is amazing? The same goes for Beastars. Have you checked Osama ranking? That's another one that people have been talking a lot lately. Everybody has been going crazy for it, actually. But after episode 1, I don't know. I only watched episode 1, so I really can't say much. Not saying it's bad. No, 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 it's not bad. It's just that I didn't see as much magic as everybody saw. But then I don't know how long is it going to take until the magic really hits me hard. Subaru is agreeing. It seems that this is it's the only way. Yeah, right. I think last time we shouted. So let's cry now. What? Oh my god, we were crying because we were. I was thinking we were crying because we were sad that we lost our family. We were actually crying because we escaped from that freaking universe? Or is it like, oh, after we cried a bit, we could feel a little bit more calm and, we could feel better after releasing our feelings by crying? Wait! Okay, we need a therapist, guys. We need some sort of mental health uh, savior because we do have some serious issues going on our minds and feelings and everything. And then this is going to be the bad ending. And then I'm back to the beginning. That's what bothers me. Because they say, like, you need to find a way back home. But sure, let's go again. We approached the oasis before. Let's avoid it now. A mirage? No, it was not a mirage. A snake. I think we. Do you remember what we did in here? I don't. I don't think we punched the snake though. Anyway, I will make the poll because I don't really remember. Oh, by the way, have you guys seen the multiverse game? Actually, it's called Multiverses, right? The new Smash Bros. Like game from the Warner Brothers. I was only missing the two leaked characters or supposed leaked characters that I knew beforehand, which were Harry Potter and Gandalf. I was wanting to see them in the game, but in the trailer they had a bunch of other characters. They had some that I was expecting, like Batman and Shaggy, but I was surprised to see Bugs Bunny and Tom and Jerry. Solid Snake. Man, I also have never played Metal Gear, and it's not a game for me, even though people say it's fantastic. Also regarding its story, right? Its plot, but I never really felt like playing it myself. But this multiverses game, I think it's going to be better than the Nickelodeon All Stars. At least quality wise, I liked it more than the Nickelodeon one. You love that now we can kick Superman's ass using Shaggy Ultra Instinct. Shaggy kind of turns into a Super Saiyan, right? In that game. But speaking on Scooby Doo, I also learned that I think in the US, but maybe in other countries too, there used to be a Scooby snack being sold like for people or for kids. I would love to try those. I always wondered, I mean, not that I always wondered, but because it's like in the show, it's a cookie for a dog, right? So like I would not be eating dog food, but I was curious to know like how does this taste like? And it seems that there was a brand for Scooby snacks being sold before in the past. Maybe it's still a thing, I'm not sure. In the US and maybe in some other countries. Oh, that's true. And then multiverses will be free. That's true as well. That was surprising. The Nickelodeon All Stars. Wait, we missed the punch, but we are still alive, right? We can insult. Okay, in here I'm making a poll. I wonder Uh, how could it make it, you know, different or like important to insult a snake? Like, what is the logic in there? I'll give that to the chat. Like, decide this for me. Are we still fighting them physically, or we're going to play some mental games against the snake? But the Nickelodeon All Stars game was disappointing to me because I don't know. I can't see the characters having a lot of special abilities. They look very generic, you know. Yeah, it is going to be a free cross-platform fighting game. Just because it's going to be for free, I think that's already enough for you to give it a shot. Even if it can't beat, I don't know, Smash Brothers, or maybe even that other Brawlhalla game, right? That also got very popular. They even got Rayman on it. I wish Rayman was on Smash instead, but it is worth a shot for sure. And I did like it more. Like I appreciated the different moves the characters have more than the Nickelodeon All Stars game. It's funny, right, that they are kind of, oh, no votes. I was curious about insulting the snake. Maybe I should have fought it harder. Let's go for the snooze this time. Okay, let's jump into the portal. Humming. Oh, we are going back to the wild. The tents are in here. I'm actually making the poll, or should I not? I'll actually make a poll for like, should we go for every different option that we have tried before? Because I don't know if we want to survive and then we got to some options that made us to survive, or if we want to try new things. So what should we be focusing on? To get to the new options or to survive? That's the poll. Back to the Game Awards announcements. I don't think this one game will win, and I still gotta play it myself. But I was very glad or happy to see that Sable got to like best indie game. And have you guys seen playthroughs or have you played it yourself maybe? The It Takes Two game, because especially thanks to the Game Awards announcements, I have been hearing about a huge hype for It Takes Two. And I had no idea it was such a good game like that. I was even surprised to see some of the YouTubers that I follow to be voting on It Takes Two as like Game of the Year. I mean, it gotta be amazing like that to beat like Resident Evil Village and stuff, right? Either Game of the Year or like Best Multiplayer Game. New options, okay, we're testing new things even if they kill us. Poles. Spears, okay. Then the chef is here. Let's. Did we talk or watch him? I think we were watching him, right? I don't know. I think due hype, Resident Evil 8 is still a big name. Oh, what is the problem of It Takes Two? Is it because you gotta play it with two people? Seriously? Is it because of... Okay, I don't know what's the problem then. Of course, it is somewhat complicated for you to like have a second player to help you out throughout the whole game, but maybe it's something else. Maybe you're talking about a puzzle or a mechanic in the game. I will pick talking here. I think we were watching him, right? He's busy, yeah. A shepherd. Okay, this is new. But this place is so confusing. This place has a shepherd, this place has a chef, this place has a sauna, it has a pterodactyl. I don't know where in time we are. Also, Gabrielle, what did you think about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? I was also watching playthroughs of it. Actually, after the stream, I will be eating dinner while watching more of it. I stopped the playthrough at Heart Home City. For the best RPG, you wish that Shin Megami Tensei would win? Me too. But probably Tails is getting it. I think so as well, because Tails had more time for people to be playing it, right? Shin Megami Tensei was released like these days. So also if Shin Megami Tensei games are as long as Persona games, people will still be playing that next year. So yeah, but I would definitely love to see Shin Megami Tensei winning it. But I'm not sad with Tales of Arise either. Like it would be my second pick for sure. We got no decisions. Okay, so I will go for approaching because how can a shepherd be dangerous? Yes, right? Livestock or paddock? What is a paddock? By the way, Gabrielle, did you see the supposed picture of the actor for the live action of Yu Yu Hakusho that was supposedly leaked? It's like a person that's dressing like Yosuke. Wait, what? It's like a stable? Yeah, it is like a place for horses. That's what a paddock is. And also, it seems that let me confirm on on my notes. Um, was it December 23? Yeah, it seems that the Yu Yu Hakusho live action, according to the rumors, may be out by December of 23 or 2023, right? You haven't? So I was watching this one video that the girl was talking about the upcoming anime related things of Netflix. And then she was talking about the trailer of JoJo's Stone Ocean. I'm excited for that. But then I was also curious, like, is Netflix going to drop the next arc together with the sixth arc? Because otherwise people will jump from Golden Dust, like they will skip Golden Dust actually, if they were watching JoJo on Netflix only, into the Stone Ocean. Like it's a whole arc that's going to be missed. I'm not sure how Netflix is going to do it because it was so weird. Like, why not also release the previous arc that comes before Stone Ocean? But sure, I'm happy that I will be able to check it because I'm up to date, right? I was able to watch Stone Ocean um, outside of Netflix. I mean, not Stone Ocean, Golden Dust. And honestly, after I finished watching Golden Dust, I did feel a little bit of like, man, I wish there was more for me to be watching because JoJo is good. Like, I was very surprised by it. Yeah, this was the picture. This was the picture that I saw. This seems to be the guy that's going to be Yosuke. I mean, according to the rumors, right? Oh, Golden Wind, right? Not Golden Dust. Yeah. You haven't. You never really cared for Diamond and Pearl, so you haven't checked it. But you'll be excited for Black and White remakes, right? I wonder if you would prefer them to be very close to the original or with some different takes on them. Because I kind of wish a little bit that these Diamond and Pearl remakes had a little bit of, new things, new elements going on. They don't have much, but I still love those games. I don't know, like, I would never imagine at first that I would like JoJo as much as I did. I know, right? JoJo was a bizarre adventure, like the title suggested, and the way it ends has little to do with the way it starts. Like, the first impressions you have from it, forget about those because the roller coaster goes on loops and tunnels and underground, underwater. It's completely different. Which is actually something that I would criticize about JoJo. I don't like how they changed the mechanics of the anime, but they kind of completely forgot about the way it started. I wish they could mix them both. But I still like the show a lot. Bruno? Wait, who was Bruno? Oh, okay, I know who's Bruno, yes. I just remembered who was Bruno. Very weird character, or like the things that happen to him, very weird things, right? On my preference list, I placed Golden Wind at like the one before the last bottle, or like not my least favorite season, but the one before it. Like, it's only it's only losing regarding being the worst in my opinion to the first season. My favorites were arc 3, like the one with Jotaro and the Egypt trip, and 4 at second place. And then third place, I gave it to season 2 with like young Joseph, and then Golden Wind, and then Joseph Joestar's Cycle or Arc at last place. Giorno Giovanna. More like Giorno, yeah. I like how his name sounds like Giorgio by Moroder, the song by Daft Punk. No votes here either? Okay, I'm going for Paddock because that's what I searched on Google and it's like a place for horses. It's large. Let's help him, why not? A Wrangler? What is a Wrangler? But he was grateful. because we helped him. Wrangler. This game and its words. Oh, it is a person in charge of horses or other livestock on a range. So it is a specific word for that. Okay, let's go one more, right? It is not over. Never mind. We are still going here, and we have raptors. We can we can ride raptors like in what, in Jurassic Park? Or you can herd the raptors. I'm not. I'm surprised that I would pick to ride the raptors on this situation. I don't know if you can, pet them. I think that sounds more dangerous than actually riding them. And I cannot believe I'm saying that, but that's how it feels to me. Oh, another thing that I saw was that the Monster Rancher remakes are actually already out, right? And it seems that I should actually see if I have that game on my wish list because I don't think I added it there. But it seems that they changed one thing about the game, and it's like the way you summon the creatures or the monsters. I haven't checked the details, of course. I actually was like reading that randomly on Twitter, but it seems that they now have a somewhat database of monsters in there for you to like summon the monsters from the database because I think they made that change because they imagine that kids today will not know what are CDs or something like that. At least that's the idea I got from this tweet I saw. So there is a change in the game that goes more towards summoning monsters from a database than summoning monsters from CDs or maybe discs. So once I get to the game, of course, I'll pay attention to that. Like, how are they doing this summoning thing in here, or what is this difference that I saw before, right? So no votes. I will ride the Raptors because I think that's the best option in here, even though it's also dangerous. Well, it was quite dangerous. So I don't know if I will go another one. At least today we got to another section, which was the jungle prehistoric forest or something. We could investigate it, and we went back to the awful dimension where we now know it is really awful and there is no good in there, like it doesn't exist at all. So let me see how much we have explored. We are getting to half, right? Maybe next time we can actually cross that half mark. And I'll be finishing it here. I want to go eat something and continue watching the Pokemon playthrough that I was saying. So thank you so much everybody for stopping by. Be sure also to check the Steam sale, the autumn sale that's starting this week. I will try to see if they are going to get some good pricing for the games, because now I have some spare money to buy some games. And I will let you know what I'm getting next stream. So thank you so much for stopping by. We'll be back toward the next Sunday. Have a good night, take care, and goodbye.